Hey, that's the remote. Give it back. Give me back the remote. Don't eat it. Don't eat the remote, Ray. No. No. Hey everybody, and welcome to Lex's Lounge. How you all doing? For those wondering, this is what my family looks like, except this is a few years ago. But I wanted to do a video today because there's been an addition to this family. We just got ourselves a hamster. So now this channel is going to be all about hamsters. Actually, no. But today it is. There he is. Look at how cute he is. He doesn't want to show his face right now. He's a little bit sleepy, I think. I only took the house off because he happened to be awake. But there he is. Here's a kind of a nicer picture of him I took yesterday when he was more playful. But shopping for this hamster has been a heck of a learning experience, and I discovered that pet stores don't really have the selling of hamster accessories in order. So I decided what better way to spend a video than to tell you guys everything I've learned about hamsters. Well, first off, I learned that there's a YouTube channel specifically dedicated to nothing but hamsters and explaining the minutiae of hamsters, which I guess I always knew in the back of my mind, but it was interesting actually watching some of these channels. Now, when I first bought the hamster, at the toy store, they were selling kind of pre-packaged kits for hamster cages and bowls and things. And this was what I bought. This cage was 18 inches by 11 inches. And then there's a second floor here that's about half the size. So altogether, about 300 square inches of floor space. And it also came with this 5.5-inch wheel. Now, I quickly discovered that these are not acceptable sizes even for dwarf hamsters. They're acceptable sizes for certain kinds of mice and other pets, but not for hamsters. And yet this was the biggest cage that the pet shop had, where the bars were thin enough and close enough together for dwarf hamsters. The minimum number of square inches of floor space you should have for a dwarf hamster is about 360 square inches, and for a Syrian hamster, which are just a smidge bigger, is 450 square inches. And you also got to make sure that you have a wheel that's an adequate size. This 5.5-inch plastic wheel wasn't even really a good fit for my dwarf hamster, and there's no way that it works for a Syrian. My dwarf hamster didn't like the wheel at all, actually. He only used it a tiny bit. So quite quickly I realized that I had a cage that was a size that was no good and a bad exercise wheel. So I dived into the research and I discovered that, well, first off, you can get a proper cage with enough square inches, but there is a shockingly low number of them, and many are sold like in Europe and in the United Kingdom. Amazon had exactly one cage that was good enough. I linked to it in the description, but other than that cage, there was nothing even on Amazon. So then I went on Kijiji, and I started looking for used reptile glass cages. And a lady basically sold me this thing for only 40 bucks. It's 36 inches by 17 inches, and it's about 18 inches deep. So it's a really, really good glass case, and my hamster just loves all the space. It was easy enough to jerry-rig a water bottle just by hanging it off of a random loopty place that I found on the edge of the case. And other than that, I've also gone through 3 different hamster wheels. The first one was that plastic one you saw back there that ended up being too small. The second one was a metallic one that was too loud. And also I realized that it was made out of wires, which, like metallic wires, like one of these, those are no good. They're bad for your hamster. So then I finally found this one. It's a 6.5-inch silent spinner wheel. that I was happy with. I can actually watch TV in the same room while the hamster uses it without it being a bother. And they also make a 10.5-inch version that's better for Syrian hamsters. I'll also link to that as well. So yeah, that was my little adventure of buying hamster things. I discovered that pet stores are shockingly ill-equipped to sell you hamster accessories, and you got to do your own research and source things yourself in order for your poor little hamster not to be a tortured soul. So yeah, that's why I made this video, just so you guys know what an adventure buying a hamster is, but they are so cute. On that note, subscribe, hit that like button if you found this useful, and next week I think this channel will be back to not being at least entirely about hamsters.